Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the 1978 All-Star Game in season ticket baseball. There was no NBC Game of the Week on this date because of Wimbledon tennis. So I figured if I was going to play the All-Star Game anyway, why not go ahead and play it this particular day just to kind of fill the void. I freely admit I'm not 100% right now. I was mowing the lawn yesterday and unknowingly I mixed it up with some yellow jackets and came out on the short end of the stick. Got a couple of stings slash bites that really, you know, they hurt. I'll just be blunt. They hurt like hell. Um, and so that's why there was no Friday Fun Day game yesterday. I just wasn't up to it, and I wasn't sure I was up to this, but I figured I'd at least give it a shot after a night's rest and some medicine and just general rest overall. I feel a little bit better. But if I'm a little bit out of sorts, that's the reason. Um, All Star games are going to be hectic to keep up with anyway because of all the substitutions and so forth. But I thought I'd give it a shot. Hello, Ernest and Kenyon. Good to see you. Don't have any printouts for base runners, so we're just going to use little pegs for base runners. I do have the benches and bullpens. So these are the reserves and the bullpens for each of the teams. And I just used an old history maker score sheet to show the starting lineups because it really doesn't matter. I'm going to be doing so much switching around. I'm not even worried about the score. I'm using the score sheet basically to keep track of who's in the game and who isn't, more so than stats themselves. So that's just the way. Hello, Brian B. Good to see you. So yeah, I just finished cutting the backyard. I was trimming around the back porch area, and I felt this twinge right just above my right ankle, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And then I felt something else right behind that. I was like, "Wow, what the heck is this?" And as soon as that happened, I realized what it was, and I quickly dodged the push mower, set that to the side, got into the house as quick as I could. There were two of them still on me. One was on my sock and one was on my shorts, and I was able to get those things off and shoo them out the house before they did any more damage. But yeah, I got it on my left thigh, right where the just below where my shorts hit is where I got stung there, or bit, probably both. I did some research on it, and I heard that they bite you first to get a better grip, and then they sting you. That's what I heard. I'm not a yellow jacket expert, so I have no idea. I just know those suckers are mean. They're not big. I mean, they're not much bigger than an ant in a lot of cases, but they pack a powerful thing that you don't want to get involved with. Fortunately, it was just two. I mean, it could have been those other two that were on me never did anything. So, hello, Doug. So, but yeah, I mean, I took the normal precautions. I put some Benadryl, not some Benadryl, some Neosporin on the sites, and of course, I took some Benadryl and also some ibuprofen for the to kind of dull the pain because it wasn't a constant pain. It would just throb every once in a while, um, and it just. Fortunately, I'm not like allergic, where I didn't go to cardiac arrest or anything. It was just I'm allergic to pain, so that's the part I was allergic to. So yeah, I was going to try to do Fun Day Friday yesterday. I probably should have recorded on Thursday like I usually do, but I was trying to do it live instead, and I just wasn't up to it. So I said, well, at least let me try to do this. If I can do nothing else, I'm going to try to do this. So I probably won't do a game tonight because I probably won't be up to it. So this will probably take out everything I had to get through this. And hello, RJL. Good to see you. So anyway, starting lineups for the American League: Carew at first, Brett at third, Rice and left. I'm sorry, Rice and right, Ziskin left. Fisk catching, Lynn center, Money at second, Patek at short, and Palmer the pitcher. They are not using the DH in the 1978 All Star game. Don't know why. To me, All Star game is a perfect place to use a DH, and they obviously decided not to. Hello, Alan and Chuck. Good to see you. National League: Rose, Morgan, Foster, Luzinski, Garvey, Simmons, Monday, Boa, and Blue. And like I said, you can see the American League, for whatever reason, I know they have two more teams, Toronto and Seattle, but they're carrying like 4 extra players on the team. Now, Johnny Bench is on the roster, but he was injured, so he cannot play. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and wipe him out because he was injured. He was elected to the All Star game, but he was injured and could not play. So I didn't even pull his card out. I just figured that's pointless at this point. The game was played at San Diego Stadium. It wasn't called Jack Murphy back then. San Diego Stadium. So we're going to roll for the weather. This is a July evening game. So it's a night game in July. 57 is the temperature here. You got to get over 86. So I don't think anything's going to happen as far as the temperature. 16 added to the 57 is only 73. So we're going to keep normal. Long drives are just going to be normal for both teams. All right, so Vida Blue and Jim Palmer are your starting pitchers. Vida Blue will take the mound first. And I'm going to try to play the starters like 2 at bats and then start bringing in the subs as quick as I can. Try to get everybody may not get in the game because it's just hard to get all these players in the game. If it's a tie at the end of 9, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I may just call it a tie, or I might use a ghost runner. I have no idea. If I run out of pitchers, then I'll use the rule. You can bring the pitchers back. So, all right. Hello, Mark. Good to see you. All right. So leading off will be Rod Carew, first baseman of the Minnesota Twins, and hopefully I can get through this game. 418 against a left-hander is a 4-3 ground out, and that's how we start. Underway. Rod Carew is retired. Here is third baseman George Brett of the Kansas City Royals. Hello, Ken. Good to see you. 136. 136 is a redirect to a 336, and that's going to be a pop-up to third base. Brett pops it up to Rose. 2 down for Jim Rice. Oh, they were? Okay, so if Burleson and Yaz were injured, so maybe that's why they had extra players there. So we'll take Yaz out and Burleson out of the list. Good, I won't use them then. That'll help. That'll help to get the other guys in the game. Appreciate that, Brian. Did not know that, but appreciate that. All right, so here is Jim Rice. It's a 234. Rice is a right-hander. 234 is a 1-3 ground out. And so how about that? Vida Blue, a 1-2-3 inning. Also, some of these All-Stars are playing out of position just due to necessity. So you're saying Willie Randolph was hurt too? He did not. I don't even see Randolph in the game. I mean, on the roster. He wasn't on the roster that I was looking at, so I didn't even put him there. So, yeah, we're not going to worry about that. All right, so as I was saying, some of these teams, like George Foster's playing in center field instead of left field, just because they didn't have a true center fielder. They had Greg Luzinski, and you had to put somebody else. All right, so Jerry Remy is out. Okay, very good. That helps even the playing field a little bit. So what I was saying is, like Jim Rice, I've got him in right field in this game. So if he comes up with an outfielder, I'm still going to use this number. I'm not going to use, if it comes up to the 596, I'm just going to substitute with a 576 and use his left field. I don't want to deal with the secondary rating crap. Not in an All-Star game. Not the way I'm feeling today. So, all right. Anyway, that's enough of that. Here's Jim Palmer. Palmer from the Baltimore Orioles will be facing Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose to lead things off. That's a 317 for Rose, and that is a single. So how about that? Pete Rose, a leadoff single to start this ball game. I'm not going to do a whole lot of stealing and stuff. I'm just going to pretty much play it straight up. Unless it's somebody like Joe, somebody that has like if you get a Vince Coleman type of player on there, I might try to steal with him. But marginal guys, I'm not going to worry about it. Here's Joe Morgan, 684. Now, technically, the National League is the home team, so we're going to add 10 to that, make it a 694. So we go to San Diego Stadium for a 694, and that's a double. 684 would have been a single plus, but this turns out to be a double for Joe Morgan. How about that? Morgan will double. Move this out of the way a little bit. Morgan will double. And now you got runners at second and third with nobody out. And Palmer getting beat up a little bit here. Second and third, nobody out. Hello, Mr. Steve. How are you doing? You missed my Yellow Jacket story earlier, but maybe a little out of sorts for that because I was the subject of some Yellow Jacket wrath while I was cutting grass yesterday. So feeling the ill effects of that. Luckily, I rested yesterday, but still a little bit, not 100%, put it that way. All right, here is Foster. He's playing center field in this game. But I'm still going to use his left fielder ratings. I really don't want to use the secondary ones in an all-star game. So, because the regular season game's short. This is an all-star game. So, to me, all bets are off on an all-star game. Infield's back. 343, and that's going to be a strikeout of Foster for out number one. Big strikeout for Jim Palmer. And that'll bring up the bull, Greg Luzinski. With Garvey on deck, the temptation is to walk Luzinski and set up a double play. But you really don't want to start walking guys in an all-star game. So 150, and that's going to be a fly to left field. Now I'm trying to remember sacrifice fly rules. I'm assuming, let me figure this out here. Maybe you experts can refresh my memory from drawing a small blank on this. Once they fly to left, how do you know if it's a sacrifice fly or not? That's my question. Runners hold, says Captain. All right. I would have to have the plus sign. Is that what it would be? It would be a plus sign, right? If they moved up, then it would be a sacrifice fly. That's what I'm trying to get at, I think. Okay. It's coming back to me now, and the plus means everybody advanced. This guy on second would go to third. Okay. I'm getting back in the swing of it slowly. All right, so here's Steve Garvey, first baseman. So the fly to left by Luzinski was not deep enough. Here's Garvey. That's a 236, and Garvey's a righty. 236 is a 4-6-3 double play, but in this situation, just a 4-3 ground out because we're already two outs. And how about that? Palmer pitches out of the second and third, nobody out jam. So Palmer does it, keeps his team in the game at 0-0. And now Vida Blue back out for his second inning of work. The starters at most will go 3. The pitchers. Starting batters, I kind of want to give them 2 at-bats each if I can. We'll see how it plays out. All right, here's Richie Zisk from the Rangers. 264. I guess a right-hander. 264 is a strikeout. So Vida Blue puts the K on Richie Zisk. Fun Day Friday will be back this coming Friday for sure. I'm going to probably record it on Thursday like I should have done this one, and that way it wouldn't have been a problem trying to do it live yesterday. So I will probably go ahead and record that this Thursday for the Friday coming up. So Fun Day Friday will be back on July 18th. All right, here's Pudge Fisk, the original Pudge, 468 against a lefty, and that is going to be a double to right field for Pudge Fisk. First hit of the game for the American League, and it belongs to Pudge Fisk as he doubles to right. Well, that would be a pleasant change, Brian. One of the draws to me from the All-Star game in baseball when I was a kid was seeing all the different uniforms. And to have them just with generic crap on, that was just stupid. So I hope they do go back to. The question is, they've got like 15 uniforms for each team now, where they're wearing these all city uniforms and all this other alternate stuff. I hope they just wear the generic uniforms, their main uniform, whatever it is. All right, here's Fred Lynn. 652. They're the visiting team, so we don't change anything. Go straight to the ballpark, San Diego Stadium, for 652, and 652 is a 5-4 fielder's choice, but in this case, it's going to be a 5-3 ground out, so the runner's going to have to hold. So Fisk will stay at second base. And now it's going to be up to Don Money, second baseman of the Brewers. Blue, 186, and that's going to be a bloop single to first base, or bloop single rather. And with 2 outs, a bloop single, the runner scores automatically because he's off with the pitch. So Fisk will score. The American League take a 1-0 lead courtesy of Don Money's single. So Don Money puts him ahead. Money was on the money. Here's little Freddie Patek. That is a 6-16. Back to San Diego Stadium. 6-16 is a pop to second. And that's going to end the inning. But the American League strikes. They strike first. Double by Fisk and a single by Money. American League takes a 1-0 lead going into the bottom of the second. And Jim Palmer is going to come up and face Simmons, Rick Mundy, and Larry Boa. 5-17. That is a fielding check for Palmer. And a 5-17 is a single. So base hit here for Ted Simmons. Leadoff single. Here's Rick Mundy. .222, room 222. Mundy's a lefty. 222 is going to be a walk. It would have been a strikeout to a righty, but to a lefty, it's a walk. So how about that? Palmer in trouble again, just like he was in the first inning. Palmer's going to lead off the third, so we're going to cap Palmer at 2 innings. And probably cap Blue in 2 innings as well, because he's going to come with that, and they're going to need some offense. So here's Larry Bolt. We're going to have a pinch hitter coming up quickly for the National League. So we will close Larry Bolt. I'm sorry, Vida Blue at 2 innings pitched, 2 hits and a run, and no walks and a strikeout. So that'll be his outing. And we look at the National League bench and figure out who we're going to have to pinch hit against Palmer. It looks like we're going to use tough call. Might depend on the situation. I'm looking at Terry Poole. Might use him. All right, here's Boa. 591. That should be an easy play for the right fielder, Jim Rice. Jim Rice, a 591. And if I was using the alternate, I'd use that. But right, I'm just going to call it like a 581. So it's a fly to the left. Run on third doesn't have to do anything. You're just going to stay there because there is no run on third. So it is a fly to right field for out number 1. And now we will have a pinch hitter for Vida Blue. So the first pinch hitter of the game will be coming in. We'll also need a new pitcher, obviously. So they're going to go with... Need somebody to get him a good hit. Since he's a lefty, we'll go with Terry Poole. Terry Swimming Pool. I think he might be the only Astro on the All-Star team, if I'm looking at this correctly. I believe he is the only Astro representative. So we'll make sure at least one Astro player gets in the game. There's now 1 out. Palmer, 310. 310 is a fly ball to center field. Run on second could challenge, but Simmons is not very fast, so why bother? So he will just hold where he is. So Terry Poole flies to center for out number 2. And that'll bring up Pete Rose. We're in the same situation. Palmer trying to get out of an early mess. It's a 144, and he does. It's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So Palmer is going to go 2 innings, and he's going to give up 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So now the National League And again, most of these pitchers on the roster are starters, so we just have to play it with a grain of salt. They're not worried about fatigue. They're mostly in there for one inning anyway, so we're not really too much worried about fatigue and ratings and all that stuff like that. So let's look at the National League bullpen. Their pitchers. They only have two really true relievers. That's Bruce Sutter and Raleigh Fingers. Everybody else is a starter. You got Negros, Rogers, Seaver, Zachary, Grimsley, and Tommy John. So the American League having a pinch hitter, Drew and Brett. They got some lefties coming up. So they're going to go to lefty out of the bullpen. And that's going to be Mr. Tommy John. Tommy John is going to come in and pitch for the National League. Where are you? There you are, right at the bottom. Okay, and the American League will need a pinch hitter. American League will need a pinch hitter for Mr. Palmer. And they have a plethora of pinch hitters, but they need to be right-handed, obviously, since there's lefty coming up. So they're going to go to, who do we go to here? They're going to go to Larry Heisel, pinch hitting Larry Heisel. So Heisel will pinch hit to lead off the third against Tommy John. And then, of course, the American League will need a new pitcher as well when they get to the top of the fourth. Or bottom of the third, I should say. All right, so top of the third, Larry Heisel facing Tommy John. No, we're not going to have any. I doubt there's any double switches going on. Maybe, but I doubt it. John, 165, and that's going to be a bloop single for Larry Heisel. Pinch hit bloop single for Larry Heisel. So Heisel does his job. And we're back to the top of the order, Rod Carew. Heisel at first, nobody out. Hello, Ben. Didn't see you. 217, and Carew is a lefty, so 217 is a 163 double play. How about that? Tommy John get the ground ball working, and he turns it into a 163 double play. How about that? Carew hits into the double play. 2 quick outs. Nobody on for George Brett. 308. Non-split. It's going to be a deep fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So Tommy John definitely did well. Might come. He only faced 3 batters, so probably will bring him back for another inning. Although I have to be cognizant of how many pitchers we have here and how many innings we got left. Actually, that's going to be it for Tommy John. Well, all the relief pitchers are getting 1 inning max. It's the only way I can get everybody in the game. All right. So, new pitcher coming up for the American League. And we have to figure out who that's going to be. Due up for the National League. Due up for the National League is Morgan, Foster, and Luzinski. So, primarily right-handed batters. So, they are looking at, but there's a lot of lefty starters in the, a lot of lefty starters in here. We're going to go to Larry Sorensen from the Brew Crew. So Sorensen will be on. The pitch is 1 inning. Back of Palmer. And he'll be facing Morgan, Foster, and Luzinski. 579. 579, a fielding check. And the blue 9 is not good. So in the American League in left field is Richie Zisk. And of course, Zisk and fielding don't necessarily go together. So 5, that's a single. Leadoff single for Joe Morgan. Now with Joe Morgan, he's somebody I might consider stealing with. Possibly. Sorensen's an 8 hold though, so it might be hard to get a jump. His steal rating is only a 1. He's got to get a jump off an 8. So that's not very good. We'll try it, but I don't think it's going to happen. That's only a 9, and he's a 1, makes a 10. That does not beat 18, so he cannot get the lead. But at least try for it. I didn't think it would work well, but I thought I'd try for it anyway. Hello, Clay. See you. Hope you guys, obviously didn't get to go, but I hope you guys had a good time at the play.com, or play.con, I guess that's what it's called. Hello, Mark. Good to see you. Play.con. That's on a bucket list of mine as well. So, all right, so here's Foster after Morgan singled and could not get the lead for the jump. We get a 149, and that's going to be a 3 unassisted. So on second base is Morgan. But down at first base, Rod Carew makes the play all on his lonesome. It does move the runner up, and now here's the bull, Greg Luzinski. That's a 569. Again, trouble for the shortstop. In this case, that's Freddie Patek. A 569 is an E6 on Patek. 1 base error on Patek. And that will put runners at the corners with only 1 out. So E6 on Freddie Patek. And that now will bring up Mr. Clean, Steve Garvey. 1 out. Double play gets him out of the inning, though. 264 against a right-hander. That's a redirect to a 564. So we're looking again at Patek, but this time the blue is only a 4, so it might have better luck. 564. No, he doesn't. 564 is a single to left. So how about that? National League has just tied this game on a base hit by Steve Garvey. Sneaks it past Patek. Patek's having a bad inning. Boots 1 and then can't get to 1. So we are tied at a run apiece. Still only 1 out for Ted Simmons. Another fielding check, but this one the blue die is only a 3, so Patek might have a chance. But we're back to the shortstop again. They're trying him out. That's a 6-3 ground out, so it only plays to first. So could not turn the double play, but he at least gets an out. And now second and third with 2 outs. And it's going to be up to Rick Monday. And the American League is going to make a pitching change. They're going to a lefty out of the bullpen to face Rick Monday. And that lefty coming out of the bullpen, they don't have any lefty relievers, so they're going to bring in Frank Tanana to try to get this 1 out. So Frank Tanana from the California Angels will be on to try to get the lefty hitting Rick Monday. So Sorensen's only going to go 2/3 of an inning. Now Tanana is in. And he's got to inherit second and third, 2 outs for Rick Monday. Justin, I have played season ticket enough to warrant a legitimate rebuttal or answer to that question. It's an enjoyable game. I'd have to play it in a season replay to over and over to get the flow of it and see how it does at that point. One day I will do that, but I mean, from what I've seen, it's right up there. I mean, no complaints. So. All right, here is Rick Monday against Tanana. 2 outs, a run in, 2 very big runners on base. It's a 177, and that's a walk. So he comes in and walks Rick Monday. And now you got the switch hitting Larry Bowa. Monday has walked twice. Now the switch hitting Larry Bowa is up with the bases loaded. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Tanana trying to get that final out. 6:19. They are the home team, so it's 6:29, but it still may not matter. 6:29 is a pop up to short, and that's going to end the inning. So Tanana gets out of the jam. That's it for him. But he did his job. He got him out of the jam. Kept the National League to 1 run. It's 1-1 after 3. And Clay, you missed it last week when I did the NBC Game of the Week. For whatever reason, I could not find my Wrigley Field printout, so I had to play the Cubs game at Comiskey Park. I had to make up an excuse saying that they had rains the Friday night and the drainage at Wrigley Field didn't go, wasn't working well. and so the field was unplayable, so they had to move over across town to Comiskey. So when I did the Philly Cub game last week, it was actually played at Comiskey Park because I couldn't find the printout. I don't know why I couldn't find the printout, but I know I had one. I just could never find it. It was mixed, jumbled in my stuff, and I could never find it, so I just reprinted another one. So future games at Wrigley will be at Wrigley. So, all right, so we're going to start the top of the fourth, and the National League will need a new pitcher. And again, we go to our bullpens. And the American League is going to have Rice, Zisk, and Fisk. So it's definitely, you would think, right-handed action. And they are going with Tom Terrific out of the bullpen, Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver will get the call. All right, Tom Seaver. Still looks funny in a Reds uniform, in my opinion. What do I know? All right, so Tommy John went one inning, gave up a hit, nothing else. Now Tom Terrific is on to face the heart of the order, Rice, Zisk, and Lynn. That's a 539. That 9 is not good. Even for Steve Garvey, is a pretty good fielder. That 9 does not look very good. 539 is an error on Steve Garvey. So how do you like that? Each team now with an error. And this one by the usual dependable Steve Garvey. E3 on Garvey. And that will send up Richie Zisk. 5. Another fielding check, and this one's not good either. That blue 7 is not good. Third baseman Pete Rose, who's not known for being a great third baseman to begin with. So 557 is a single to left field. That's going to put runners at first and second. So, boy, Seaver kind of looking at his fielders over there saying, what the heck is going on? And too quickly are on, so you never know. Here's Fisk. 431 against a right-hander. It's a 6-4-3 double play. That certainly helps the cause. 2 quick outs, a 6-4-3 DP. Going to third is Rice, but now there are 2 outs, and it's going to take a 2-out hit from Fred Lynn to get her done. I don't know anything about those crowns. Somebody told me one time how you could do it. I haven't really put the energy in or had the time to look into it, but one day I will. But yeah, I don't. It's not something I worry about. Whatever they want to do, they do. I just tend to ignore them when I'm in other people's chats. I just ignore them. For me, I'm other people may keep track of it, but I just don't. All right, here's Freddie Lynn against Seaver with 2 outs and a runner at third. It's a 189. And a 189 is a walk, so Seaver will walk Fred Lynn. Now, how big is that double play? And here's Don Money. He was money in the second inning with an RBI single. Can he be money again? .106 is a redirect to a 306. He is not money. He strikes out. Seaver gets out of it. He'll pitch his 1 inning. Give up a hit and a walk, but nothing else. Gets a strikeout. Pitches around the error by Mr. Garvey. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. Seaver will be pinch hit for. The pitcher spot is due up first. So Seaver will be pinch hit for, but the American League has to bring in a pitcher, and it will be Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry. So Ron Guidry gets the call. Tanana went a third of an inning, did a walk and nothing else. Sorensen ran into a little bit of issues in his part. He gave up 2 hits, but no runs. No walks, no strikeouts. All right, so Ron Guidry, which means that National League will need a pinch hitter. So we go to the American League and we use Ron Guidry. Now the National League needs a right-handed hitting pinch hitter. Now the question is, who we're going to use? Jeff Burrows at Atlanta Braves. I like to use guys that aren't very good fielders, be pinch hitters when they can. I don't think Jeff Burrows was a very good fielder. So Jeff Burrows, right here, will be your pinch hitter from the. He's him and Phil Negro, the two Atlanta Brave representatives. So Burrows is your pinch hitter here in the fourth inning. And naturally, in All-Star games will take a little bit longer because there's more, making all these changes. So there's Guidry to Burrows. It's a 494 against a left-hander. A 494 is a deep fly to center field, one away, and Burrows is retired. Back to the top. I'm sorry, back to the top of the order for Rose, but we're going to go and start making some subs right now. Start bringing in some new players. So Ron Say is going to come in and pinch hit for Rose and take over at third base. That's where we start doing the substitutions. So now we do have to keep a couple people back for pinch hitters later in the game, but I'm going to try to use some of these other guys as best I can. So Ron Say will pinch hit for Rose in the fourth inning. Probably could have let Rose go one more inning, but I just figured I'd go ahead and change him out. All right, I think I got to do the crown thing on my end to get rid of them. I don't know for sure. Like I said, I'll look into it at some point. All right, here is Say against Guidry. 5-14, that's right back to Guidry, and a 5-14 is a 1-3 putout. That's 2 down. So uneventful start for Ron Say. Joe Morgan, Little Joe. Second baseman is Lopes, if I want to bring in Lopes. Like I said, I don't want to over substitute and run out of people. That's the problem. Do I have a backup at each position? Looks like I do. But if I sub too early, the subs might get more bats than the starters get. So I'll go and let Morgan hit. Why not? 157, and that's going to be a strikeout. So it didn't matter either way. Whoever was hitting was going to strike out. So Morgan strikes out to end the inning. Ron Guidry, a 1-2-3 fourth inning with a strikeout. Guidry does his job. We now go to the top of the fifth. It'll be Patek, a pinch hitter for Guidry, and then Carew. Those are scheduled hitters. For the National League pitching, let's see who they want to go to for the pitcher. They're going to use Steve Rogers of the Expos. Bring in, and this is more logistics than anything else in these all-star games. You're just trying to get the logistics straight. So Rogers will be the new pitcher. Now the question is, who's going to be the hitter for Guidry? We'll have to wait and see on this. It's Patek leading off, and then the pinch hitter, probably left-handed. Looking at possibly Roy Howell. So Roy Howell is going to be the pinch hitter in this case. The lone Toronto Blue Jay representative, Roy Howell. So it'll be Patek, Howell, and then Carew. Unless we want to pinch hit for Carew, which I might do. You get another first baseman in the game. So we'll see. Hello, D. Scott. Yeah, he probably is. I'm sure Rose is upset. 629 for the American League. Again, they're the visiting team, so they're not going to get a boost out of that. 629 is a pop to short. So Freddie Patek will pop it to short, and Roy Howell, the Toronto Blue Jay representative, is in the pinch hitting booth in the batter's box here in the fifth inning against Steve Rogers. That is a 4-16. Howell against a right-hander is going to be a 1-3 putout. That is out number 2. So quickly 2 outs. And we're going to look at Rod Carew. We're going to go and let Carew have one more. I think we're going to let, because there's only one other first baseman on the roster, though. No, you know what? There are two first basemen on the bench, so we're taking Rod Carew out. And we're going to substitute Rod Carew with Eddie Murray. So Eddie Murray will come in and hit and take over at first base for Rod Carew. Got to get these guys in before it's too late. So Eddie Murray, the only switch hitter on the roster for the American League, he is going to come on in place of Carew. Good spot to bring him in. 2 out, spaces empty. Maybe a long ball gets him a run. Whereas if you left in Carew, you're needing 3 or 4 hits. That's a 4.48 against a right-hander. A 4.48 is a double. Pinch hit double for Eddie Murray. And I would make a comment about how adept I am at bringing in pinch hitters, but I think proof is self-evident. 2 down for George Brett. Now, do I have any other third baseman other than Nettles? I think he's the only third baseman remaining. So we're gonna let Brett hit. Runner at second, Murray with 2 outs. 5-12. That should be an easy play for Steve Rogers, and it is. It's just a 1-3 ground out to end the inning. So Rogers pitches around the double. He goes 1 inning, gives up a hit, nothing else. In his inning of work. That'll do it for Rogers. Now we go to the National League, and the American League will need a new pitcher. And let's see, the National League is bringing up Foster, Luzinski, and Garvey. They're the scheduled hitters. Doesn't mean those are the ones that are going to actually hit, because we're looking at substitutions. But let's see what the American League will choose to do. They have Gossage, Keogh, Kern, and Flanagan, the remaining pitchers. They're going to go with the lone Oakland A representative, just to make sure an Oakland player gets in the game, and that's Matt Keogh. So Keogh is in, and he'll be facing Foster, Luzinski, and Garvey, the scheduled hitters, but there will be pinch hitting. No question about that. So Foster will be pinch hit for. Let's see who's going to play center field for Foster. Do they have any center fielders? Anybody rated for center field? Well, Winfield's rated for, he's partially rated for center field. So we go with the hometown boy, Dave Winfield. Winfield will come in and pinch hit for Foster and take over in center field. So Dave Winfield pinch hitting for Foster to start the bottom of the 5th. All right, here is 3-0-2 for Keogh, and actually it's going to turn to Winfield, and he struck out. Boy, bad break for Winfield. Gets a first at bat, he rolls a 3-0-2, which is a strikeout. Bad break there. We'll get a pinch hitter for Luzinski as well. They need a left fielder for Luzinski. And let's pull the National League batters back out. And the left fielder for Luzinski. They don't really have a left fielder. That's the problem. Well, it's an all-star game, so we're going to kind of fudge it a little bit, I guess, is the best way to treat it. And they're going to use Reggie Smith. So he'll stay in the game, play left field. Switch hitter, Reggie Smith. So Smith and take over in left field for Luzinski. All right, here's Keogh, 562. That's a shortstop. Ground ball to short. And the American League shortstop is still Patek. So let's get his. He's been under the gun on some of these fielding checks, but this one should be okay with the blue too, you would think. And it is 6-3 ground out. So Patek was able to hold on for that one. So Reggie Smith is out. Start the inning after Winfield struck out. Reggie Smith is out, 6-3. And now Wilbur Stargell will come in and hit for Steve Garvey and take over at first base. Old man Willie. Will come in and take over at first base. Hitting for Garvey. I guess Keogh, who's by his numbers are not all that great, but he's gotten two pretty good hitters out. Here's Pops, 367, and that's a strikeout. So Pops strikes out. 1-2-3 inning for Keogh with 2 strikeouts. You could argue he had the most effective outing so far. At the end of 5, we're still tied at 1. So Keogh is done. Now the National League will need a new pitcher, as they used Rogers already. So they're going to Nuxie Phil Negro out of the bullpen. Phil Negro. Come on. And he's going to be facing Rice, scheduled hitters, Rice. Let's see, Rice, Zisk, and Lynn. So you know there's going to be some switching here. Rice is playing right field, so let's see who's going to come in for him. Looks like not Darrell Evans, Dwight Evans, his teammate, is going to take over. So Dwight Evans will take over in the right field for Rice. Pinch hit for Rice and take over in the right field. Mr. Evans. One of the better right fielders in baseball history, in my opinion. Obviously, Clemente probably the best, but Evans pretty good in his own right. He will be up there to face Mr. Negro. All right, let's see here. 596 for the right fielder. And the National League right fielder is still Rick Monday. Haven't subbed for him yet. 596. I'm going to treat it like a 586, and it's a double. Batter has a choice to go to third, but I think Evans, not being all that fast, they'll just hold him at second base. So Evans, a pinch hit double, and Zisk comes out, and we'll get a new player for left field for the American League, and that will be, they want to go with for left field. They only have one other outfielder, period, and that's Reggie. So Reggie will be in left field. Oops, wrong stack. Right stack of players here. So Reggie Jackson, pinch hit against Phil Negro. It's the knuckleballer. And he will stay in the game, play left field. Even though he's a right fielder by trade, he will do that. So Reggie's going to face Phil Negro. I see that, Clay. I see what you're talking about. Yes. All right. Negro, Reggie. 118 is a redirect to a 318, and that's a strikeout. He strikes out Reggie. One away. Reggie's retired, and we're going to get a pinch hitter for Mr. Fisk, and it's going to be Reggie's teammate, guy by the name of Thurman Munson. So Thurman Munson will come in and catch, pinch hit for Fisk and catch. So let's get Munson in here. There he is up here, Munson. So Munson will hit. The way I'm looking at this, it looks like because of the not enough outfielders. Oh, I'm sorry, Chet Lemon can pinch hit for Lynn. Okay, I thought I was missing out. I had one outfielder left, Chet Lemon. So Lemon will pinch hit for Lynn after this. So right now, Thurman Munson against Negro. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you. 654. Home team's not batting, so we keep it at 654. It's a 5-4 ground out if the infielder's in. In this case, just a 5-3 ground up, but it's going to cause the runner at second to hold. So Evans at second base will have to hold, 2 down. And now Fred Lynn will exit the game. And Chet Lemon, the last remaining outfielder, will be in there. Everybody else in the on the bench for the American League is in the infield. So Chet Lemon from the White Sox, I believe it's the White Sox only representative in this game. He will pinch hit for Fred Lynn against Negro with 2 outs and a runner at second. 1-1 tie here in the top of the 6th. 6:43 again. They're the visiting team, so no boost. 6:43 is a 4-3 ground out, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the AL. And that's going to do it for Mr. Negro. He goes this 1 inning. Gives up the double to Evans, but that's it. Gets a strikeout on Hot Dog Jackson. And that's going to do it for the American League. So now we go to the bottom of the 6th, and the National League is up. And the American League will need a new pitcher, obviously. So for the American League, they will bring in left-handed pitching Mike Flanagan. I got to be careful. We're in the 6th inning. I've only got 3 pitchers left. So Flanagan's going to probably have to go 2 innings, most likely. Most likely going to have to go 2 innings. Is Mr. Flanagan. But you know what? They're going to have I said I wasn't going to do a double switch, but I'm going to have to keep Flanagan from batting so fast. This score sheet's a mess, believe me. I just pulled an old History Maker score sheet. But we're going to put the pitcher spot right here at Brett's spot, number 2. And we're going to bring in the third baseman to bat in the 9th position for the American League. And that third baseman is Greg Nettles. So Greg Nettles will take over at third base for Brett. Bring Nettles in the game as well. There he is. And coming out of the game is George Brett. George Brett no longer in the game. And Flanagan will bat in the number 2 position, right behind Eddie Murray. Of course, he won't get the bat. When it gets to him, they'll pinch hit. But they want to give him at least 2 innings. They'll be able to make sure to go 2 innings without having to hit. All right, due up for the National League scheduled hitter is Ted Simmons, but of course we need to pinch hit and bring in Bob Boone. Booney will hit and stay in the game to catch. So he takes over for Ted Simmons. So Boone taking over for Simmons. It should be bottom of the 6th, still 1-1 ball game. Flanagan, 157, and that's a fly to center field, 1 away. So Boone is retired. Scheduled hitter is Rick Monday. Of course, he will not hit. And they will bring in to play right field. They will bring in Jack Clark. Jack Clark, the new right fielder for the National League. He will come on and hit against, and then Concepcion will hit for Boa right after this. Right now it's Jack Clark. 586. That's a fielding check for the center fielder, Mr. Lemon, who just came into the game. So a 586. 586 is a good catch. Deep fly to center. So Lemon tracked it down. Good thing he brought in a good defensive center fielder. That probably would have been a double otherwise. Jack Clark flies out, and now Concepcion will pinch hit for Boa and stay in the game to play short. That leaves Pocoroba and Lopes are your bench players in the National League remaining. I'm going to leave Pocoroba to pinch hit for the pitcher, and Lopes will take over from Morgan. All right, so 2 outs, and Concepcion, the pinch hitter, against Flanagan. 459, and Flanagan's a lefty, so 459. That's a double to right field for Mr. Concepcion. Pinch hit double for Concepcion. And now we are at the pitcher spot. So we need Biff Pocoroba to pinch hit for Negro. Pocoroba pinch hitting for Negro. In a big spot. Kind of strange that he was an all-star. He already had 2 all-stars from Atlanta, Burrows and Negro, so I'm not sure why they picked Pocoroba. He has 242. He must have had a hot start, is all I can say. He is a switch hitter, so he's going to bat right-handed against Flanagan. 300, right on the number. And that's a strikeout. That's his only strikeout on his card is 300, and he found it. How about that? Struck him out. And Flanagan, he's going to have to go 2 innings, so he will come back for the next inning. So can't do his totals just yet. But now the National League needs a new pitcher, and it's going to be facing some pinch hitters, so we don't know who that's going to be just yet. Let's see how they want to play this. They're going to bring in Pat Zachary of the Mets. Pat Zachary will be the new pitcher. Scheduled hitter is Don Money, but he will not hit. Frank White will take over for him and pinch hit and play second base the rest of the game. Frank White. And Patek will be pinch hit for. Got so many bench players on the American League and not enough pitchers. That's the problem. So I'm going to pinch hit with somebody that's just going to pinch hit, and then we'll bring in a new shortstop. The new shortstop is going to be Craig Reynolds, but the pinch hitter is going to be Darryl Porter. So it's going to be White and Porter. It's going to look like a Kansas City Royal game. White and Porter will be the first 2 hitters in the inning. White and Porter. Pinch hitting in the first 2 spots. White will stay in the game and play second base. Porter will leave, and Craig Reynolds will take over at shortstop for Patek. Good point, Brian B. Probably was, but I would have thought they would have found a better catcher. I think maybe there wasn't one in 1978, but you would have thought somebody, Yeager or somebody would have been better. Oh, well. Zachary, 207. White's a right-hander. It's a redirect to a 407, and that's a line drive to third for 1 away. So Zachary. now to face Darryl Porter. Porter pinch hitting, and then Craig Reynolds will take over at shortstop behind him. That's a 266 against a left-handed batter. 266 is a 6-3 ground out for out number 2. So pitching has dominated in this All-Star game. Scratch out Porter and Reynolds and Nettles because they're all in there. So we got, and White's in there. So we have Thompson and Sundberg, the 2 remaining bench players for the American League. And now we need a pinch hitter. And that pinch hitter is going to be Jason Thompson. Thompson will pinch hit for the American League. What do I do with my American League? Now I'm misplacing my American League guys somewhere. Where'd it go? The joys of an all-star game where you start forgetting where you put players. Which has never happened to anybody else. For some reason it's happening to me. I don't know why. I'm having a hard time finding who I need to find. For whatever reason. Unfortunately, this is not a recording. This is live, so bear with me. I had the stack right here. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. Didn't fall off the table or anything. They didn't get buried. I'm kind of clueless now as to what's going on. Got my National Leagues over here. What happened to the American League? Now I'm totally befuddled. Well, entertain yourself, folks, while I try to figure out what the heck happened around here. Where my players went. Had them all. Now I can't find them. Told you I wasn't feeling well today, so maybe this is part of that. Still suffering the doldrums of the Yellow Jacket incident. Oh, here we go. I think I found them now, finally. I was looking for Jason Thompson, was I not? Yes. Okay, so we did find him. Somehow they got put over there in my discarded pile by mistake. So the only guy left on the bench is Jim Sundberg. And he will be there to take over, to pinch hit for the pitcher when his time comes up in like the 9th inning or something. So Jason Thompson, your pinch hitter, against Zachary. 2 outs, nobody on. Hello, JC. It's a great game. I highly encourage you to check it out. I mean, if you don't want to buy the printed set, you can go to the website and print off the free sample teams and rules and try it that way. Make sure you enjoy it. PDFs obviously are a lot of people's choice, but I'm telling you, the printed sets are nice. Zachary, 602, and that's on the ballpark card. Should be an easy out. 602 was a 6-3 ground out, and that's going to end the inning. So Zachary pitches a scoreless inning and gives up nothing. 3 up and 3 down. Zachary. So that's it for Thompson. We can be finished with him. Flanagan's going to pitch his 2nd inning of work, and he'll be facing Say. Morgan, and Winfield. So Morgan's going to have to pitch the whole game because my only bench player in the National League remaining is Davey Lopes. Need to keep him to hit for the pitcher. So Lopes is the only one still available. Coming, and Flanagan's still in there. So this is what we got left. The guys that aren't scratched out are still left. So in the American League, Sundberg's on the bench. That's it. National League, Lopes is on the bench. That's it. Bullpen, Gossage and Kern. And that's it. National League, Fingers, Suter, and Grimsley, and that's it. So I'm going to have to be judicious in these last couple of innings to make sure I don't run out of players. So bottom of the 7th, we go. And, of course, you know what that means. Even for an all-star game, that means take me out to the ball game. And after all this, I probably need a stretch break myself. So I'm going to take a stretch break. You can take it with me for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Okay, folks. A mistake has been made in the interim while I was listening to the Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So I need to make note of this. I can't do anything about it at the moment, but and it's probably because I'm using the History Maker score sheet, not my usual score sheet. But when I pinch hit with Thompson in the top of the seventh with 2 outs, thinking it was for the pitcher because I was in the ninth position, but actually it should have been Nettles at bat. Thompson should not have hit for Nettles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign that at bat to Nettles, and Thompson will stay in the game. We'll come back and pinch hit next inning. So that's just what I'm going to have to do. I don't have any choice. I made the mistake, and we will bring back Jason Thompson to pinch hit next inning. It'll be Murray and then Thompson and Evans in the top of the eighth. I just had that boo-boo. Didn't mean to do it, but it's a boo-boo. So coming in to pitch the eighth inning when it comes around will be Ross Grimsley from the Expos. He will be the new National League pitcher. And that will leave Fingers and Suter in the bullpen for the National League. Gossage and Kern remain the bullpen for the American League. All right, here's Ron Say. Start the bottom of the seventh. 287 against Flanagan, a right-hander. 287 is a deep drive to left field. First deep drive of the game. How do you like that? Ron Say's power is a 7. It's a deep drive to left. We're looking at this column right here. We take the 7 and add it to the 2 D10s and see what number we get, see if we get a home run or whatever it might get. That's a 10, so it's a total of 17. It's just a fly. Boy, 18 would have been a home run. Just a deep fly to left by Ron Say. He just missed it. One away. And that will bring up Little Joe. Again, he's going to be the guy that gets to play the whole game because I don't have everybody else to play second base. I do have Lopes, but if I use Lopes, I got nobody else to pinch hit for the pitchers. So we're going to have to use Morgan. 663, the home team's batting, so it's 673. 673, it's called a wild pitch, so it's going to be ball one. But at least it keeps his at bat going. It would have been an out on the 663. 643, now it becomes 653. But it's not going to do him any good. That's going to be a 5-3 ground out. So Morgan is out of there. 2 down. 2 down for Mr. Winfield. Struck out his first chance. 295 against a right-hander, and that's a deep drive to left for Winfield. Can the hometown boy do something? His power is a 9. I'm going to take the 9 and add it to the 2 D10s in this thing here. If we can get 11 or higher, it's a home run. That's just a 6. Comes to 15, so it's a fly to left. So again, deep flies come up short at San Diego Stadium. And that's going to end the inning. So we go to the 8th. That's it for Flanagan. He's done. We go to the eighth. Ross Grimsley will be the new pitcher for the National League. Flanagan goes 2 innings. A rarity, but out of necessity, I would say. He goes 2 innings, and he gives up a hit, nothing else, and gets a strikeout. We're still 1-1 as we go to the eighth. Coming up for the American League, it'll be Murray, Thompson for the pitcher, hitting for Flanagan, and Evans. So Thompson mistakenly pinch hit for Nettles when he shouldn't have, but I didn't catch that until it was too late. So he's going to drive on. Grimsley against Murray, 262. Murray's a switch hitter batting right-handed, so we're in the right column. 262 is a redirect to a 552. So that's a ground ball to third. National League third baseman is Ron Say. On a 552, that's a ground out to third. So there's one away. Eddie Murray is out. And now Jason Thompson gets to pinch hit appropriately this time. 100, and that's just a pop up to third. Most pitchers have a redirect here, but Grimsley does not. Probably because he's got low strikeout totals. Most redirects are for strikeouts, I believe. I could be wrong on that. I think that's generally the way it works out. All right, here's Dewey Evans. He doubled in his only appearance after taking over for Jim Rice. 450 against a left-handed Grimsley. That's going to be a 6-3 ground out to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the eighth. Still 1-1. And that's it for Grimsley. Grimsley's going to go 1 inning and give up nothing. Now the American League. Who will they turn to? They have 2 pitchers, Kern and Gossage. So let's get Thompson now out of the game. It'll be Stargell and Clark, the scheduled hitters. Stargell, Boone, and Clark. So, but they're both right-handed relievers, so it really doesn't matter. Looks like they're going to bring in Jim Kern, the lone Cleveland Indian representative from the All-Star game. Jim Kern. Save the goose for last, I guess. So Jim Kern will be on. Actually, it should be Reggie Smith first, not Stargell, because Winfield made the last out. So it should be Smith, Stargell, and Boone are your scheduled hitters. Smith, Stargell, and Boone. So Kern is that leaves Gossage as the only pitcher remaining. National gets Fingers and Suter. And they got Lopes to pinch hit if they need them, and Sundberg's to pinch hit for the American League when that's needed. All right. Definitely an exercise in logistics. All right, here's Reggie Smith facing off against Kern. 155, and that's going to be a walk. So leadoff walk. Might give the National League some hope. Here comes Big Pops. Normally it would be a bunt situation, but we're not going to ask Pops to bunt. He's got a 0 bunt rate. Pops is going for the fences. 412 against a right-hander. That's a single to center field. How about that? Single to center. Now, it's the center field, so it's possible, I assume. I'm trying to remember my rules now. But I'm assuming it's possible to challenge. Lemon's arm is a 5. Speed rating on Smith is a 4. So he's down by 1. So with nobody out, boy, I just don't think you make the first out at third base. I think you're going to hold him there. I'm going to hold him there. First and second, nobody out. And Bob Boone, the batter. Now, he is a good bunter. He's a 6 bunter. So I think this is the time to bunt. If anybody disagrees, they can and you know me, you know I don't bunt. But I think this one just calls for it. Because you got a weaker hitting, you got the go-ahead runs at first and second, nobody out. You get them in scoring position, you got 2 chances to drive them home. So in my opinion, that should be the play. But Let's see here. Let me find my bunt chart. What do I do with my bunt chart? Here we go, right here. So there's the bunt. There's the bunt right here. You're going to take all 3 dice plus his bunt rating. His bunt rating is a 6. Corners are in. So I'm glad you're here, Clay. You can let me make sure I do this correctly. So let's roll the dice first, and we get a total of 8. All right, 8 plus his 6 bunt rating is a 14. 14 says it's a foul. 2 strikes, see below. All right, 2 strikes. Batter now has 2 options. Keep the bunt on, re-roll in the bunt table. Foul or miss is a strikeout. Swing away with 2 strikes. Subtract 3 from batter power on all deep rolls. And rolls of 600 to 699 are now a strikeout. So obviously that gets some incentive. You just don't get a free willy swing with 2 strikes. So it does put in some things here. But I think you have to leave the bunt on and just try for a better roll myself. So you can try to bunt again. And that time it's better. 14 plus the 6 is a 20. So compared to a 20, it says sacrifice 3-1, good bunt, runners advance. So hopefully it's supposed to be as simple as it looked. The bunt goes 3-1, and the runners advance. Kearns, first baseman, the only player to throw at the pitcher covering. All right, so runners are at second and third with 1 out, and Big Jack Clark is your batter. On deck is Concepcion. Do you walk Clark and face Concepcion? I'm sorry. I say back there. It should be Concepcion. Why did I move Concepcion? I took him out of the game when I shouldn't have. He should still be here. We're going to walk Jack Clark, by the way. They're going to walk Clark and set up a double play situation. And now we need to find Concepcion. Prematurely took him out of the game. I shouldn't have. There he is. So maybe a controversial decision to walk the runner like that. Could have played the infield in, but we're going to go ahead and walk Jack Clark and face Concepcion. Concepcion did double his last time up. The infield is looking for the double play. 126, and that's a strikeout. So huge strikeout for Jim Kern. And now with 2 outs, it all comes down to the pinch hitter for the National League, and that's Davey Lopes, last man left on the bench, last man standing, as they say. So Davey Lopes, that's why we did not sub him for Joe Morgan, because we needed him for this kind of situation. So Davey Lopes, pinch hitting here in the bottom of the 8th, a huge spot. Saved him for last, but I tell you what, no bigger situation in the game than right now. 2 outs, bases loaded against Jim Kern for Davey Lopes. 169, and that's a walk. He's going to force in a run. Wow, that's the danger of giving the intentional walk, is you walk in a winning go-ahead run. So Lopes draws the walk. National League now leads it 2-1, and Bruce Sutter is loosening in the bullpen. Kern now having to face Say. 102 is a redirect to a 3-0-2, which is a strikeout. That's what he needed the first time around. Didn't get it. And now we go to the 9th. National League with a chance to win it 2-1 if the bullpen can hold it. Tough call between Raleigh Fingers and Bruce Sutter. They're both right up there. Actually, Raleigh Fingers had the better record. You know what? We're bringing in Raleigh Fingers. Plus, he's the hometown boy. I mean, they'd boo you out of San Diego if you didn't bring in Raleigh Fingers. So Fingers had a 2.52 ERA with 37 saves. Sutter only had a 3.19 with 27 saves. So Bruce Sutter it is. I'm sorry, Raleigh Fingers it is to try to close this game out. Sutter is loosening the bullpen just in case he gets in trouble. He's going to face Jackson, Munson, and Lemon for the American League. Sundberg is the only guy who has not played for the American League. Had to hold him out in case you need a pinch hitter for the pitcher. We may not be able to get to Sundberg, but we'll see. Some guys aren't going to get a chance to play. It's just the way it works out. So All right, so here is Raleigh Fingers against Reggie Jackson. Top of the ninth. 437 for Reggie against a right-hander is a fly ball to center field, a deep one, but not deep enough. And there's one away for Thurman Munson. 557. That's trouble for Ron Say. That blue 7 is not good. 557 is a single to left field by Thurman Munson. So Munson singles. He is the tying run with one out for Chet Lemon. Solid 300 hitter in 1978. 605. 605 is a 4-6-3 double play, and the ball game is over. Wow. 4-6 just that fast. The ball game is over on the double play. National League wins it by the score of 2-1. You like that? Winning pitcher is Ross Grimsley. Loser is save for Fingers. Loser is Kern. In fact, the question is who gets the MVP. There weren't really any big offensive stars that I could see. Of course, position players didn't play long enough to really make an impact. So I'm not really sure who to give the player of the game to. The bullpen for the National League obviously did very well. But 7 shutout innings for them. But I'm not sure who you would give the player of the game to. Let me get the totals for you. Of course, for the American League, 1 run, and for the National League, 2 runs. Each team committed 1 error. Check the hits. Let's see here. 1 hit there. 2, 3, 4. I got the American League rather for 7 hits. The National League 5, 6, 7. I got them for 7 hits as well. Let's see, left on base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 left on for the American League. National League 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 9 left on. These are all unofficial totals. But anyway, there you have it. The National League. Oh, yeah, I'm going to probably take some more Benadryl or something just to get myself straight. Again, I apologize. I was planning on doing the Fun Day Friday until that happened. But Friday Fun Day will come back next Friday with a new game I haven't played in a while. So I always like to try to keep it a mystery game just so it's a surprise. Tomorrow, most likely, will be Stratomatic. It'll be Seattle at Boston. I believe that's the next game on the schedule. Inside pitch, I'll probably come back on Monday with inside pitch, maybe. Haven't decided exactly when we'll do that one. But we finished the month of April, so I want to do a recap on that. Make sure all my totals for the players on the board, the games on the board, totals, win totals match for each of the teams. I'll give the standings that the Stratomatic computer has simmed out other than those games. Of course, next week on Season Ticket Baseball, we'll be in the National League. We'll be at Three River Stadium, as it will be, if nothing else, a colorful game, I guess is the right word for it. Maybe. I don't know how you want to look at it. But I've got the schedule here for Season Ticket for the NBC Game of the Week. This is what it looks like going forward. We've got the Giants and the Pirates on July 15th. We got the Royals and the Red Sox on July 22nd. The Phillies and the Reds on the 29th. Giants and Dodgers on August 5th. Pirates and Phillies August 12th. Dodgers and Mets August 19th. Angels and Red Sox August 26th. And that takes us all the way to the end of August. That will be the upcoming schedule every Saturday at noon for the NBC Game of the Week. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this presentation of the 1978 National League All-Star Game from San Diego Stadium, later to be known as Jack Murphy Stadium, Qualcomm Stadium, all kinds of different names. Of course, it's no longer used for Major League Baseball anymore. I think the stadium is still around though. Maybe San Diego State uses it or something. I don't know. But anyway, I may try to do something tonight. But it depends on how I feel, and I don't want to uh, commit to anything. Um, Tigers and Reds game might still be on the board. I doubt it, but I mean, it's a possibility. But even then, I'm not sure if I want to do inside pitch or payoff pitch because to me, inside pitch is it's just more fun to me than payoff pitches. That's just my opinion. People like different games. So, but anyway, that's gonna do it from here. I got a couple little mini chores I need to get done. I need to go take the trash to the dump and stuff like that. I'm not gonna. I'll cut the front yard on Monday. I only made it to the backyard yesterday, and I'll just cut the front yard. I don't want to mess with that today, so I'll cut the front yard on Monday and be done with that. It's one of the beauties of being retired is the things I used to have to scrounge in on a Saturday and fit it on a Saturday. I can pretty much do whenever I want at this point. So it's a nice place to be. So once again, final score: National League 2, American League 1. The go-ahead run on a bases loaded walk by Jim Kern to Dave Concepcion. I'm sorry, to the pinch hitter. What was it? Pinch hitter? Yeah, pinch hitter Davey Lopes walked with the bases loaded and forced home the winning run. So that's going to do it from here. If you have not checked out Season Ticket Baseball, it's worth a look, my friends. You don't have to spend any money on it right now. You can go there, go to the website. You can print off the sample teams and rules for free. I believe you still can. I don't think that's changed. And give the game a go and watch videos on it by other people better playing it than me. There's a lot of people out there playing this game that are much better at it than me. So look at them and read the rules and print off the sample teams and give it a go. And if you like it, order a season. PDFs aren't that expensive, or you can try I mean, if you really like it, printed set. I'm telling you, the quality of the printed cards are very, very good. So can't go wrong with this game, is what I'm saying. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. And what is somebody asking here? Oh, Kenyon, the old school. It kind of is for now. Nothing's permanent, but I mean, it's kind of, I'm trying to outdo Dave Gardner. I'm going to try to play more old school games, and he plays Hockey 49 games or has Hockey 49 videos. So I'm trying to in a competition with Dave Gardner about which kick we can be on the longest. So we're going to do, although I'm not going to corner around my Strat-Matic cards, obviously, but yeah, I do kind of prefer, because when I play Strat, I get a little nostalgic, and so I like the nostalgic feel. And to me, this nostalgic feel kind of gets lost when you have a dice tray. So I do kind of, and I can, by not having the tray, I can get the webcam down a little closer and you see the cards better, because sometimes those Strat cards don't show up very well on videos like these other games do. That's just the way they're done. They're more compact and everything. So yeah, I think I'm, at least for a while now, going to stick to the old school, because like I said, when I play Strat-O-Matic, it may sound corny, but it's a little nostalgic for me. So I like to try to fit the nostalgic stuff in there when I can. So the game I was going to play on Fun Day Friday will be pushed back 2 weeks, and the game for next Friday is already, because the game for next Friday has already been picked out, and I want to keep that in rhythm. So the game I was going to play yesterday, I'm going to play 2 weeks from today. And the game for this Friday coming up is the regularly scheduled game. I will probably go ahead and do that as a recording on Thursday, just so in case I have any more problems on Friday, I don't miss anything. But we'll see. I might do it live. I'll probably do it as a recording. Can't say 100% sure. You can make all the plans you want, but then life gets in the way, and then you have to adjust. So again, that's going to do it from here. Appreciate all you guys tuning in, spending part of your Saturday afternoon with me. Again, final score: National League 2, American League 1. It was a fun 1978 All-Star game, but next Saturday, back to regular season. Houston Astros taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. So again, be safe out there. Have an enjoyable weekend. And until next time, we'll see you all down the road.